This monk is kick-ass. Even when someone kicks his private part hard, he doesn't even flinch. Johnny saw this and decided that he wanted to develop some iron groin skills. However, he was still inexperienced and could only use small stones to gradually increase the pressure on his private part, making them used to the pain. Every step was incredibly difficult, and after one day, Johnny couldn't feel anything anymore due to the pain, but he didn't give up. He kept training diligently every day, regardless of the season. After a year, Johnny could already pull large stones without feeling pain. He had mastered the iron groin skill. During the practice of the iron groin technique, Johnny didn't neglect his other exercises. Johnny learned to pull stones with his groin. This is at the Shaolin Temple in China. While others used their hands to strike sandbags, Johnny did things differently. He used his head to strike. Coincidentally, he developed the iron head technique. Faced with Johnny in his 30s, the master gave him a saying: "Will is the master of the body." Johnny contemplated this repeatedly until he understood. He walked barefoot on burning charcoal, thinking only about being cool and not feeling the heat, as if he were on a comfortable Hawaiian beach. Facing a fight with the senior disciple, Johnny was unafraid. The senior disciple unleashed his ultimate move, the invincible eagle claw. But Johnny was smart. He went behind the senior disciple and knocked him out with a stick. Why bother with all the fancy moves with a weapon? I'm not a fool. Johnny's skills weren't limited to the Shaolin Temple. He was a senior agent for MI7, the British intelligence agency. Come and check out what advanced technology is available here at this place. I've never seen such advanced equipment. This is a bomb phone. Making a call triggers an explosion. Don't ever give them your phone number, or it'll be dangerous. Most of the inventions here come from the doctor's hands. But he paid a significant price. He researched exploding shoes, which caused his legs to blow up. He researched an exploding doorbell, which resulted in his right hand being blown off. But this also proves that the doctor was undefeated. Even if he spent the rest of his life in a wheelchair, he didn't stop researching. He modified his wheelchair, and at its maximum speed, it can reach 120 miles per hour. He equipped the armrests with professional handguns. Anything he invented had considerable power. Johnny pressed a button, and the computer shot out a CD, directly removing the head mounted on the robot's neck. Have you ever seen a Rolls-Royce Phantom? The doctor modified the entire car, equipping it with voice recognition. Just give a command, and the car emblem shoots a laser that can penetrate even steel plates. The doctor invented a satellite receiver and a tracking device, even plastic explosive chewing gum. These are just minor things. Curious, Johnny picked up a camera, pressed the shutter, and the camera shot out a dart. It turned out to be the latest version of a digital dart gun. Try a piece of candy, and your voice changes into a little girl's. This is actually voice-changing throat lozenges. It looks like ordinary people really can't come here. Johnny received a new mission, based on reliable information. During next week's talks between England and South Korea, someone plans to assassinate the president of South Korea. Johnny, with his assistant, immediately set off for Hong Kong to find an informant and gather more information. This janitor old lady is actually an assassin. She expertly assembled her vacuum cleaner into a sniper rifle and took aim at the old headmaster's head. It turned out the old headmaster is Johnny's informant. The headmaster told him that the organization planning to assassinate the South Korean president is called the 3K Party. There are 3 leaders, each holding a key. When they gather all 3 keys, they can unlock a mysterious weapon. The headmaster has one of these keys, but just as he's speaking, the janitor old lady outside took action. She shot him, and the headmaster died on the spot. Johnny rushed outside, but he didn't see any suspicious person. He kindly helped the janitor old lady take the vacuum cleaner into the elevator. When he looked down, he saw a bullet casing in the vacuum cleaner. When he witnessed that the situation has turned chaotic, the janitor old lady sprayed pepper spray into Johnny's eyes. Once Johnny recovered, he saw the assassin taking the headmaster's key. Johnny chased her, but the assassin was very cunning. In the blink of an eye, she escaped. She jumped over an air duct, and Johnny rolled his eyes. He's still too inexperienced. He slided through a gap sideways. The assassin easily leaped over an iron fence in 2 steps. Johnny, on the other hand, calmly opened an iron gate. The assassin continued to flee, running to the rooftop and making a daring leap across to the other building, leaving Johnny's assistant below in complete astonishment. Wow, this person is really good. The assassin landed safely and gave Johnny a disdainful look. Now, let's see how you catch me. Johnny took an elegant step, climbed onto a crane, and reached the other side. Just before leaving, he even left a tip. The assassin climbed down an external bamboo ladder. Johnny turned around, got into an elevator and descended. The elevator was available. Why bother wasting energy? Young people are always reckless. The assassin had just gone down as Johnny came out. The two chased from the land to the water. The assassin hopped into a motorboat to escape, while Johnny, being even more impressive, boarded a luxury cruise ship in pursuit. This assassin had terrible luck. The cruise ship was right behind him, and the small motorboat stood no chance. Johnny pulled out a digital dart gun, shooting a hole into the small boat. The assassin fell into the water, and after crawling ashore, he wanted to engage in close combat with Johnny. He unleashed a flurry of punches and kicks, but Johnny merely pressed down on a bamboo board. The assassin was hit by his private part, making him cry out in pain. Johnny managed to take the first key from him. Johnny returned with the key to report back, but to his surprise, the key had been switched during the flight. When he opened the case, it was empty. Johnny saw a vacuum cleaner outside. Thinking it was the Hong Kong janitor old lady, he grabbed her by the neck and brought her in front of his boss, stating that she killed the old headmaster. But the boss shouted, "Let go of her, that's my mother." Johnny went to the kitchen to apologize, but it turned out this time it was really the janitor old lady. In an instant, she flew at Johnny with a knife. She swiped twice, but luckily Johnny blocked her with a cutting board. He rushed out and tackled an old lady, grabbing a tray and kept hitting. "Now you can't escape," Johnny said. His boss arrived with her child. "Do you want to keep your job? How dare you hitting my mother again?" Johnny had mistaken the janitor old lady again. Did she know how to change her appearance? To quickly understand the other leaders of the 3K party, a psychologist hypnotized Johnny to extract information from his mind and find the target. It turned out to be him, Karlenko. Johnny disguised himself as a wealthy man and played golf with Karlenko. His assistant reminded Johnny to wear gloves, but Johnny, full of confidence, "For someone of my skill, I don't need gloves." He aimed his golf club at the ball, wiggled his buttocks, found the right feeling for the swing, and made a confident stroke. Unexpectedly, he missed the ball, and the club flew 10 meters high. The assistant neatly caught it. This is the latest technique, hitting the ball and retrieving the club with a single move. Just then, the janitor old lady reappeared. She had turned the golf club into a sniper rifle. Bang! She took down Karlenko. Johnny quickly, with his assistant, carried Karlenko onto a helicopter and sent him to the nearest hospital. Johnny then piloted the helicopter unsteadily, and as he passed by some plants, he lopped off a significant portion of their leaves. This technique is impressive. The janitor old lady was indeed an assassin. She surprisingly fired a Gatling gun at the helicopter. Bullets kept shooting. Johnny hurriedly adjusted the direction and took cover behind the trees. However, the helicopter's navigation system had been damaged. Neither of them knew the hospital's location. Top Agent Johnny saw an ambulance on the road and came up with a brilliant idea. He landed the helicopter on top of the ambulance and arrived at the hospital's entrance. Johnny took out the second key from Karlenko's pocket. Karlenko was on his deathbed, but managed to reveal the location of the third key. The third key was at the headquarters of Military Intelligence Division. Shockingly, there was a mole within the organization. Johnny and his friend, Simon, went for a meal together, during which Johnny's assistant took him aside and informed him that Simon was the mole. Johnny was incredulous and handed the second key to Simon for safekeeping. Simon collected all 3 keys and immediately reported back to headquarters, accusing Johnny of being the mole. Johnny, who had never encountered such an unfair situation, was surrounded and apprehended. Have you ever seen a wheelchair faster than a car? Johnny raced away in a wheelchair, even grabbing a helmet on the way. He adjusted the wheelchair to its fastest gear and zoomed through the streets, making sharp turns one after another that blocked the cars behind. His wheelchair was unobstructed. Johnny hit the gas, and he butted in front of everyone to get to the elevator first. An old man was unhappy. "Why do you get to cut in line?" Johnny didn't say a word, pressed a button, and a handgun emerged from the wheelchair's armrest. Everyone raised their hands as Johnny rejoiced at having escaped. He suddenly noticed that dozens of cars were already waiting for him. Johnny adjusted the wheelchair to its fastest speed, and no matter how many cars there were, they couldn't catch up. Suddenly, a large truck blocked his path. Johnny reclined his chair and rolled beneath the truck. It was so cool. Johnny found his assistant, and they decided to stop Simon at the appointed location. The top agents carried out his mission. However, Johnny mistook the distress signal device for a climbing tool. He twisted it, and the distress signal went off. What's worse was that it automatically launched a signal flare. Guards rushed to apprehend them. Johnny cleverly went along with it, disguising himself as a corpse and having his assistant bring him in. Simon had already used the 3 keys to open a safe. This was the secret weapon they had spoken of, obedience water. Drinking this potion can make a person entirely uncontrollable. At the mercy of others, Simon added the obedience water to a drink, just as the boss was about to sip it. Johnny intervened. He told his boss that Simon was the organization's mole, pointed his gun at Simon, and said, "You've been exposed. Surrender." Thirsty, Johnny gulped down the drink in one go. In less than 3 seconds, Johnny started to go crazy. His limbs were out of control. Now, he was utterly under Simon's command. Simon led him into the meeting room and made him the translator for the Prime Minister. The secret agent drank the obedience water. Johnny heard Simon's command and took out lipstick, painting red lips on himself. Subsequently, the lipstick transformed into a mini pistol, pointed at the South Korean president. Everyone was stunned, but the meeting room's glass was specially designed and couldn't be opened from the outside. Controlled by the drug, Johnny remembered what his master had told him. Will is the master of the body. He began to resist, pressing his left hand against his right, and if he couldn't control it, he would cover his eyes so as not to see. His assistant disrupted the command frequency and played music. Johnny ended up dancing in front of the world leaders. Oddly, this action allowed him to break free from control. Simon, realizing that things were going south, tried to escape. Johnny, with a parachute on his back, went after him. He climbed into Simon's cable car, disarmed Simon of his gun, and the two fought. Johnny's hand got entangled in a strap. Have you ever seen someone who wasn't afraid of a groin strike? Johnny had practiced kung fu in China. He tied a rope around his groin that allowed him to pull enormous stones. Now, he applied this skill in real life. Simon kicked Johnny right in the groin. Johnny didn't feel any pain. What he didn't know was that Johnny had trained in iron groin techniques. Seeing that he couldn't win, Simon reached for his gun. Johnny took advantage of this and delivered a swift kick to his groin. It left him in excruciating pain. Johnny grabbed the gun to finish him, but in the process, he accidentally fell. Fortunately, he wasn't injured. Johnny pulled out an umbrella, and surprisingly, it shot a rocket. With a whoosh, it fired, causing the cable car to explode. Simon was eliminated. Afterward, Johnny received the Queen's coronation. However, his supposed majesty turned out to be the janitor old lady in disguise. She grabbed a knife and attempted to attack Johnny. Unable to defeat Johnny, she could only flee. Johnny chased her and tackled her from behind. However, he got it wrong again. She was, once more, his boss's mother. But this time, the janitor old lady didn't escape, and was apprehended by Johnny's assistant. Johnny would continue as the Ace Special Agent. The end. This film is called Johnny English Reborn. Now, question for this episode. Do you think Johnny is a qualified secret agent? If you think he is, comment 111. If you think he's not, comment 222. Johnny might not be like the typical secret agents, but his iron head and iron groin skills are equally impressive. He can stay calm and handle unexpected situations. This is something we can learn from. I recommend watching the original film. Alright, that's it for this episode. Remember to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye.